Yo, this is Bench Gamer here. So I just got done watching the 1.4 live stream for Zenless Zone Zero. I might be talking a little bit quieter than usual because it's currently nighttime, and there are people living besides me because I'm currently renting a place out right now since my house in Taiwan is a bit too rundown. So forgive me if you have to turn up the sound a little bit. But I've finished watching the 1.4 live stream for Zenless Zone Zero, and all I have to say is that I am extremely impressed. If you don't want to hear anything else about it, but there are a couple of few key things out of all the things that they have announced that will have repercussions for the rest of the Hoyoverse games. So Genshin Impact and not Honkai Star. Yeah, Honkai Star. I was going to say Honkai Impact there, but mainly Genshin Impact and Honkai Star will also be following in what Zenless Zone Zero is doing now, based on rumors and blah 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 dreams. You know all the talk about that stuff. But the thing I said about how banners in Genshin Impact and Honkai Star and Zenless Zone Zero are going to be reworked has essentially been confirmed for Zenless Zone Zero, at least for 1.4, which is that Harumasa Asaba and Hoshimi Miyabi will be debuting at the same time on day one of the patch. They will be lasting throughout the entire banner, so there will be two new characters for you to pull on for, I think, 5 weeks. That is how long this banner is going to go for. So that's basically how long the patch is going to last, because they're not going to have like a week of a patch that just doesn't have a banner. So this will be a short patch, but based on rumors and leaks, or dreams, it's just leaks, let's just be honest. This will also be heading for Genshin Impact and Honkai Star in the future. So Honkai Star, starting from 3.0, will also have two new banners from the start, and halfway throughout the patch, they will have rerun banners. So there will be just like 2 or 3 weeks of rerun banners, lasting or running simultaneously beside the new characters. So there's going to be like 4 banners at the same time, I believe. And Genshin Impact is also going to be doing the same thing starting from, I think it's 2.3 or 2.4. I'm not sure which patch. I think we're on 2.2 now, so not 2.2 or 5.2. So starting from 5.3, I believe, which is when Mavuika is coming out, we're going to get Mavuika and Sitlali at the same time. And the patches are just going to last throughout the entire patch, which is amazing because there's going to be less FOMO. Yeah, I just read a comment by one of the usual regulars on one of my community posts who said that, yeah, it is less FOMO, technically speaking, but they're going to, there's going to be more people talking about it. It's going to be like, it's going to give you more opportunity to spend money on it. But let's be real, for free-to-play players, it absolutely is, technically speaking, objectively speaking, just more time for you to get more primo gems, to get more currency for both Honkai Star, Genshin Impact, and Zenless Zone Zero. It is just going to be better overall, because you always want more time to pull for your characters rather than just being like 3 weeks later and then more leaks come out and it turns out the character that you skipped turned out to be extremely meta. And if you're a meta chaser, that is just bad, right? So having 5 to 6 weeks to get another character is amazing. And that is what Zenless Zone Zero has done. That is just one of the changes that they have made for Zenless Zone Zero. I don't know if it's going to last throughout the entire duration of the rest of Zenless Zone Zero's lifespan, or if it's just a one-time thing, or if it's going to be a one-time thing for the other games as well. But based on rumors and dreams, this is what is going to be happening for all the other games. Another thing they have announced is that they are reworking not reworking, but making it optional for the early game stuff, right? Because as you know, the TV mode was heavily disliked when the game first came out. I was one of the TV mode apologists, and in fact, I did enjoy the TV mode. But the most recent event that they have released that includes the TV mode, I think it's the new Hollow Zero mode, the one that you go to the Hollow Zero computer to do. I think that was a bit too much, and that actually made me like the TV mode a lot less. For the most part, I just like the TV mode as a form of exploration in the main story, and a lot of people didn't like that, so they made the TV mode something that you could do on the side. Except the things that they do on the side is like a lot of TV mode. So it turns out that the more TV mode I do, because it's basically required if you want to get all the primo gems, did not make me like it that much. I actually disliked the TV mode more after they made it into side content rather than the actual main story content. But what they have done is that instead of not having TV mode in the future stories, they have gone back and made the TV mode optional in the previous story. So if you are a new player starting the game in 1.4 for Zenless Zone Zero, it is completely optional for you to do the TV mode in the main story. And instead, they have replaced it with full-on 3D, basically platforming adventure style puzzles. Like the thing that you're seeing right here, it kind of looks like Ratchet or Clank, or one of those PS2 platforming games when I played those games when back in the day when I was like 12 or 13 years old. This is basically what it looks like to me. It kind of looks like Astrobot, if you've ever played that game. I know it's like an extremely dumbed down, simpler version of it, but it is essentially that. I've also heard that it looks a bit like Fall Guys. I don't know if that's true, but you Zoomers probably know more about what games look like this than I do. So you can still do the TV mode, and I think you can get extra bonus rewards for it if you do it, but that's basically stuff that you can do after you have already done the main story, and you will just be controlling EOS. And that is going to be the representation of your character, the Phaethon, right? The main character in Zenless Zone Zero. And a lot of people were complaining that after they removed the TV mode, it felt like the main character just doesn't exist in the new stories anymore. And that has been fixed because you can just play as EOS now, which is what I recommended as the solution for not having the TV mode anymore, because the TV mode was the representation of EOS, the little robot that represented your main character. And yeah, they have gone down the path of making Zenless Zone Zero exactly what I wanted it to be, which is basically just a very high octane, action packed light novel, visual novel style storytelling with like really good cutscenes, really good combat, really cool characters, really good animations. The story as well, a lot of people say is worse than Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. I absolutely disagree. I think they have another thing that they have done that I suspect that they were going to do was that they would introduce all these factions from one patch to another patch to another patch. Like we got the Sons of Caledon, we got the what's it called, the Bellabog Heavy Industry group, and then we got Victoria Housekeeping, and then we have the police people. And all of these people, all of these characters, all of these factions are finally like gathering up into one final story quest for 1.4. I think this will probably be the climax or close to the climax for the current story arc, which was to get Pearlman, I believe, who is still like somewhere out there in like the Badlands. And that's why we're seeing the Sons of Caledon in this 1.4 patch trailer. And it all feels like some kind of like adventure style gathering up moment where all the story that we have experienced that felt kind of disconnected sort of all tied together. And that was what I was expecting they were going to do in the first place. But it's really nice for all the things that I wanted them to do or was suspecting them to do all end up happening. It's like they read my mind. It's like they actually knew. Like it feels good to confirm that what I thought was good storytelling or what I thought was good like game making decisions were also things that they were also thinking and making decisions on, right? It's like they confirmed my biases. It's like this is what I was thinking was good and they also thought it was good. So why not just do it, right? And they also add a whole bunch of things. We're getting 2 new endgame modes. I believe there's a boss rush mode, which is going to be rotating with the current critical node. So it's going to be like Honkai Star Rail in that way. We're going to get a boss rush mode and the traditional timer gated thingamabob. I'm guessing the what's that called? The new mode is going to be something similar to Apocalypse Shadow in Honkai Star Rail, where it's more boss focused. And then there's also another more like simulated universe mode where you get additional new abilities. Honestly, it looks so much more interesting than Simulated Universe, because Simulated Universe, you're just getting more stat buffs, right? But your abilities for the characters actually change. Like I saw one of the video shots of Yanagi, I don't know what her other name is, Yanagi, when she was doing her like basic string attack, she actually had like this other attack where she like slammed down and she disappeared, and it's like all these like lightning balls like were surrounding her. So it's like a completely different ability. And I was also looking at Miyabi doing her attack string. I'm not really sure what the attack string is at because she's not out yet, but it obviously was an additional attack that she was doing that was not something that she could normally use. So all of these new characters or older characters are going to get additional abilities that are special for them in this new simulated universe mode. And that's just so amazing because they're literally new animations, right? So what else are they adding? They're adding a new improvement on the dating sim aspects of the game. You have characters that actually follow you around now, so they're like kind of like pets, but the actual characters, which is even cooler in my opinion. So all of these like lifestyle stuff, combat stuff, story stuff, all of this is being improved. I think there's also some optimizations for the phone. So you can delete previous resources, and apparently they're gonna move that to PC and next, I believe. I don't know why they do that. Why do they always introduce like these like resource saving features in phone first before PC? Because my PC is like jam packed with Hoyoverse games at this point. I am basically the #1 Hoyo show. I have maybe like 90 gigabytes left on my hard drive, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not, because it's like a 1 terabyte hard drive, and every single game is like 30 to 50 gigabytes at this point. And Genshin Impact is like, I don't know, 50 gigabytes. It used to be like 100 gigabytes before I deleted it and reinstalled. So it would be really good if they could save me some space. I gotta keep some storage room on my computer for some stuff that's not Hoyoverse related. Please, for the fucking love of God, just please do it. So I'm so hyped for 1.4. It really feels like they are reworking the game. I believe the code for Zenless Zone Zero for the 300 polychromes that we're getting in the China server is actually called ZZZ Reborn. So this is definitely something that is being promoted, at least in China, as a relaunch of the game. And I think they have done their job, at least when it comes to the game content. I don't know about advertising, because advertising really does play a big part in how popular a game is. But I don't think we have to worry about that too much, or because Hoyoverse is just like bombards everybody with advertising. They just have enough money to sell that stuff. So I'm not worried on that front. The game looks amazing for me. I would never like disliked Zenless Zone Zero, but I have to admit that some of the decisions that they made, for example, not being able to play as your character in the main overworld hub, was a bad idea. I think they should have thought about that before they launched the game. I think they felt like I feel like the base of the game was made on top of like Persona 5, where you have these like one or two characters that you play as that are just different genders. And then you can play as the other characters when you're in combat, when you're exploring the dungeons. But this is a gacha game. This is not Persona 5. So maybe they went a bit too far in that direction. And now they're bringing it back to a more gacha core audience game. And I think that's a good thing. The reason why I like Zenless Zone Zero, I think this may confuse a lot of people, but I feel like Zenless Zone Zero is actually the ideal gacha game. I think it is the gacha game that is the easiest to keep up with. That is also an action combat game. I think Honkai Star, if you don't like action combat, is still the superior game. But if you do like action combat, Zenless Zone Zero absolutely is easier to keep up with. The Primo Gems, the Polychromes, the premium currency, you don't even have to spend your mana. You don't even have to spend your your morale, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the points you get to improve your characters. You don't even have to spend them. You literally just log in and go to a bunch of stores, which are all in the same hub, and you get your 60 Primo Gems. So it's like the very bare minimum. It's basically just logging in and you get the Pole currency. Not not that hard. In Honkai Star, I still have to sit there and wait for my characters to do their autoplay. It's literally Arknights. Arknights is the worst. I'm sorry, Arknights. Arknights is not even the worst when it comes to grinding. I think that's actually Nikkei. I don't know why people say Nikkei is. I don't want to go into it, but whatever the case it is, I've played a lot of gacha games at this point. I didn't before Genshin Impact. I only played Arknights before Genshin, but I played all of them at this point. I've played Arknights. I've played Nikkei. I've played what's it called? Fire Emblem Heroes. I've played what's it called? Epic 7. Uh, oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. Fate Grand Order. I'm on the second singularity now. None of them really compare to Hoyoverse games, to be frank. And I think Zenless Zone Zero is like a distillation of what I find, like what is good in Hoyoverse games on a very like short timer level. Like I can just go into Zenless Zone Zero and play for like 20 minutes. I'll be like, holy shit, my dopamine levels are going up. My gacha brain syndrome is being fulfilled. I feel like I want to pull for the characters. I feel like playing the characters is fun, especially Yanagi. I feel like Jane Doe turned out to be a kind of little bit more brain dead, but Jane Doe it's still fun. Her animations are godlike, but Yanagi just has a little bit more to her gameplay. I can like min max my attack strings a little bit more, and it feels good to like play the character more optimally. I think this is probably the longest video I've done since I come back to Taiwan. For good reason, because I really do feel excited, genuinely excited for Zenless Zone Zero right now. Anyways, this is Ben Screamer signing out. I'll see you guys later. Bye.